Okay, let's talk prison food. When you think of punishment, you probably picture bars, guards, and cold cells. But one of the strongest daily reminders that you're not free? The food on your tray. So today, we're climbing the prison food ladder. From the stomach-churning bottom all the way to meals that actually look kind of decent. 10. African and Middle Eastern prisons. This is the absolute floor of prison dining. Not a meal, but survival rationing. In some of the harshest prisons across parts of Africa and the Middle East, trays aren't filled. They're scattered with the bare minimum. A slice of stale bread, a watery porridge, or a bowl of thin broth that tastes more like the pot than the ingredients. Protein? Almost non-existent. A scrap of meat might show up once in weeks. Vegetables? Forget it. They're a luxury item prisoners might only dream about. Calories barely scrape by the survival line, and malnutrition isn't some oversight. It's intentional. Food here isn't seen as nourishment, but as an extension of the punishment itself. Prisoners in these environments often lose weight rapidly, not just in pounds, but in strength and willpower. Their skin pales, their bones sharpen, their energy fades. And yet, the hunger gnaws most at the mind. Because here's the truth people often miss. Starvation doesn't only weaken muscles. It erodes dignity. It chips away at sanity. It makes days stretch like years, and nights feel endless. Living every day on crumbs turns time into torment. A meal that never satisfies becomes a reminder, 3 times a day, that the system doesn't just want you confined. It wants you broken. And yet, even in these conditions, something stubborn survives. Inmates share scraps, smuggle tiny bits of food from family, or cling to the smallest kindness, a piece of bread given by another prisoner, as proof that humanity can endure even when the system tries to starve it out. 9th United States. Cross to the US, and you'll find food that's high in calories but low in dignity. Trays carry mystery meat patties, soggy bread, overcooked beans, powdered mashed potatoes, and flavorless oatmeal. Nutritionists warn that this diet leaves inmates less healthy than when they entered. But the cruelty isn't starvation. It's repetition. 3 times a day, prisoners are reminded that eating isn't about pleasure, culture, or connection. It's about cost-cutting. It's about stripping meals down to fuel and nothing more. The punishment isn't hunger. It's the slow erosion of joy. 8. Russia. Here, meals feel like history never moved on. Russian prisoners often receive watery cabbage soup, thin porridge, black bread, or dried fish riddled with bones. Without outside packages from family, many prisoners waste away. The food isn't meant to sustain life comfortably. It's meant to remind you of your place. Disposable. Survival becomes a personal battle, not a guarantee. Every bite echoes the gulag past, meager, joyless, a constant reminder of state control. 7. South America, Brazil, Venezuela. Now the ladder drops sharply. In overcrowded prisons in South America, food becomes unreliable. Meals are usually rice, beans, maybe a scrap of meat if corruption hasn't siphoned it away. Hygiene is poor. Spoiled food isn't rare. It's expected. Families are often relied upon to bring food during visits because the system can't or won't provide enough. Miss a visit? You risk hunger. Riots have erupted over rotten meals. Hunger here isn't just discomfort. It's danger. At this level, food is no longer routine. It's a gamble. 6th United Kingdom. Now we reach the middle ground. Not cruel, not generous, just institutional. In British prisons, meals often look like school cafeteria leftovers. Boiled vegetables, sausages, bland stews, baked potatoes. Nutritionally, it does the job. Nobody's starving. But meals are stripped of joy. Food becomes routine, a bland reminder of the gray sameness of prison life. The cruelty here isn't hunger, it's monotony. Eating turns into an obligation, not an experience. It sustains the body, but it does nothing for the soul. 5. Germany. German prison food is steady, practical, and consistent. Think bread, cheese, soup, cold cuts, boiled potatoes, hearty stews. It's not exciting, but it's not degrading either. In some prisons, inmates even receive a small allowance to buy groceries and cook their own meals. This responsibility is part of the system's rehabilitation strategy. Food isn't seen as leverage. It's seen as life, and life must be sustained with dignity. Germany's approach is simple. The punishment is confinement, not starvation. 4. Norway. Here, food feels almost normal. Norway believes prison is a place to reform, not rot. Meals are cooked with fresh fish, meat, eggs, vegetables, and dairy, often by the prisoners themselves. They eat together around tables, not in lines with plastic trays. The philosophy is powerful. If you want someone to function in society, you don't strip them of every trace of it. You prepare them for it. Mealtime becomes a daily rehearsal for freedom. Food here isn't used to punish. It's used to remind you still belong to the world beyond these walls. 3. Japan. Step into a Japanese prison dining hall and you'll find a meal that could easily pass for a disciplined family dinner. Steamed rice, miso soup, grilled fish, pickled vegetables, and green tea. Portions are exact, balanced, and nutritionally calculated down to the gram. But make no mistake, this isn't indulgence. It's structure. Every bite is part of a system. Meals reflect the Japanese emphasis on order, precision, and balance. Inmates aren't given variety, but they're given health. The food is clean, consistent, and culturally familiar. In many ways, the meal becomes another form of discipline. Eating on time, eating what's served, and eating in silence. 2. Italy and Spain. Even in confinement, food here carries culture. In Italian and Spanish prisons, meals often include pasta, bread, olive oil, vegetables, and on better days, meat or fish. It's simple, yes, but unmistakably Mediterranean. Food isn't stripped of identity. It still smells like home. For many prisoners, this is more than nourishment. It's a tether to the outside world. A plate of spaghetti isn't just carbs. It's memory, tradition, and proof that life still holds flavor. And in societies where meals are sacred, prison food reflects that reverence. It reminds us that justice here is stern, but not soulless. 1. Finland and Sweden. At the top of the ladder, food doesn't feel like punishment. It feels like preparation for life after release. In Scandinavian prisons, meals are designed with dignity in mind. Inmates might sit down to grilled chicken, fresh salads, potatoes, salmon, or even light desserts. But here's the twist. Often they're not handed trays. They shop for groceries and cook together in shared kitchens, just like people outside. The idea isn't indulgence. It's rehabilitation. Authorities here believe you're more likely to rejoin society successfully if you're treated like a human being, not an animal in a cage. That philosophy spills into the food. Every bite says, your sentence is loss of freedom, not loss of humanity. It's a striking contrast to the stereotype of prison gruel. In Finland and Sweden, mealtime is community, responsibility, and a rehearsal for normal life. That's the prison food ladder, from Scandinavian buffets at the top, all the way down to bread and water survival at the bottom. Food in prison isn't just food, it's philosophy. It tells you everything about how a society defines justice. Is it about rehabilitation or about breaking people down? If you vibed with this taste test of the world's harshest kitchens, toss a like before the algorithm puts me on bread and water. And hey, if you're still here, subscribing is basically mandatory. Catch you in the next one. Peace.